Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. Planning Commission meeting for October 24. If we have the roll call, please.
Chair DeBolt.
I'm here.
Vice Chair Riley.
Here.
Commissioner Andrade.
Here.
Commissioner Quilty. Absent. Commissioner Gross.
Here.
Commissioner Lowe. Absent. Commissioner Sofocanic.
Here. Okay, if we all stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, at this time, I will open the meeting. This is for oral communications. If there's anyone in the audience who wishes to speak on any item that is not on our agenda, but within the purview of this commission, this is the time to come forward. Seeing none, I'll close oral communications and we'll go to approval of the minutes for the meeting of September 26th.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And I'll abstain. I was absent at the last meeting. Okay, we'll move on to, let's see, we'll go on down to item 8. This is a planned sign program for 4012 Catella Avenue. If we could have a staff report, please.
Yes, Chair DeBolt and members of the Planning Commission. Plan Sign Program 1802 is consideration of a sign program for that building right there, which is at 4012 Catella Avenue. It's called Laurel Park Plaza. And the applicant is Harold Rothman. He owns quite a few buildings around here. But representing him tonight is Tyler Shapiro, right there in the audience, and if you have any questions, he can answer. Mr. Rothman requests approval of a sign program consisting of wall, address, unit, and hours of operation signs. The planned sign program was previously approved for this property in the year 2000, but it's a much different planned sign program at that time. They were cabinet boxes and things like that, so completely different. And let's see, if approved, this program allows staff to approve the signs that are consistent with the program. And the signs are described in detail in Exhibit A of your agenda packet, and the plan proposes up to 11 signs. Let's see, is it going to move? There you go. There's the site there. And there's 11 signs with unpainted aluminum letters that extend up from a raceway with LED lights that shine up from behind it, right about there, and go up behind. And each sign will not exceed 24 square feet. A planned sign program is not required for directional signs. However, for the uniformity of the signs, they present them as part of the planned sign program. They're unpainted aluminum plate signs pierced by unit number information and directions. Each sign is proposed to not exceed 1 square foot as the code suggests, and that'll have hours of operations and things like that also on them. They'll have number signs above the doors of each unit, and then one big number sign on the front of the building there. I mean, the address sign, address numbers, and that's the other plate signs, and that is it. Okay, so the overall plan, we feel, staff feels that it's really a nice set of signs, and we recommend approval of Plan Sign Program 1802 as conditioned.
Okay. Do we have any questions of staff by any of the commissioners? None? Okay. At this time, this is a public hearing. I'll open it to the public. If there's anybody in the public that wish to come forward and comment on this, including the applicant, if there's anything you'd like to say, at this point? Any-
Good evening. My name is Chris DeRuiter, President of Signage Solutions, and we worked with Howard Rothman and so forth to put together a really very clean and simplified sign program that will address not just now for the tenants that are out there, but also make in the future changes as tenants come in and out over lease periods and so forth. Real simple. And so we're picked up the highlights of the materials that you see in the building materials. So we're using like the iPay color wood. We're using natural materials, which are a higher end finish with the brushed aluminum for the letters. And what's nice about that, it's a faceplate that mounts up to that bar, so you're not putting holes in and out of the building, and that's what kind of sometimes brings blight into a city. So it's done very tastefully.
Great.
Any other questions?
Any questions for the applicant?
Thank you very much.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, discussion amongst the commissioners?
I think he stated it nicely by saying it was simple and clean. That's what I took from it. I commend you on the work done on the signs. I think they look really nice.
Yes. I just like to say, we're watching the building, you know, for the last year or so, the overall renovation, and at times you're wondering and wondering and wondering, and then finally it all came together at the end, and it's really, really turned out good. I mean, just a nice addition to the community there. So anyway, with that, does anybody would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion
I'll
to
second it.
approve
Wow.
the 1802.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the item. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, next item is item 9. This is consideration of a zoning amendment concerning small wireless cellular installations within the city of Los Alamitos. And let's see, we have a recommendation from staff to open the hearing and, if appropriate, to continue the hearing into November 28th. So staff has further time to draft more amendments to the code regarding this. So, somebody would like to?
And also, I'd like to say that over the last month, too, we had a meeting, a stakeholder meeting that 3 of the commissioners came to.
Oh, okay.
And that it was a meeting with 18 different representatives of like Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, and they talked to us about what they would like to see, of course, in an ordinance. And then that was really good information for us to take back to when we create the ordinance. I don't know if any of the commissioners want to say anything more about that, or
Those that were in attendance, if you like.
yeah, it was Mary Ann,
The two of us,
Victor,
Mary Ann.
and Larry.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it was interesting. I think we're waiting for some information to come back to us. The conversation was a good conversation to get things started, and they're going to provide us with some additional information. It was a little unfortunate. I think we learned that we don't have as much control over being able to write this ordinance as we thought we initially might have had, based on the federal regulation that's already been put into play. So there are a lot of guidelines that we have to actually follow. That's kind of what I took from that meeting, that really limits us on our ability to do some of the things that we initially thought we could do. So that will all, I guess in one way, make the ordinance a little easier to write, in the sense that we're kind of locked in. But as far as what we can, where our influence is on design, we can actually kind of work with putting together a design that works for what we feel works best for the city from an aesthetic standpoint. So is that basically, Victor, what you took
Yes,
from it?
that's it. I think the stakeholders agreed to possibly meet with us again
Mhm.
in the future after we have a draft of the ordinance and review it, so it should be helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was speaking with our new community development director the other day, and we were talking about this, and hopefully with the idea that maybe we can get a little more we can be a little more aggressive with it, with the idea that maybe this could become a template that they could use in other cities, you know, to, so maybe if we can, if we need something maybe a little more, a little more tighter than what, maybe what the federal regulations allow, or where we, you know, maybe we can get a little more input, maybe with the idea that this could be a template that they could use in other cities. You know,
It seems
you know
fair.
what I mean, that
Yeah.
they could use, it might be worth them not pushing us too hard, but you know, working with us a little more with the idea that they could, you know, get it worked out, and then they could just take like almost a finished product or a package to another city, you know, and say, look, this is what we did in Los Alamitos, and we worked it through, and we've addressed this, and this, and so I don't know, I mean, just
The other thing I think that was interesting.
being
that-
late to the party.
that what we took out of the meeting is it appears, in speaking with the carriers, that it doesn't, at least at this time, appear that we have a huge potential for a ton of these in our city.
Oh, I see.
Given the size and the parameters
Right.
and the density and everything else. That's what it looks like. That doesn't mean that wouldn't change, but it appeared that there weren't going to be as many as maybe we initially thought there could be
Okay.
based on that. That seem,
Yeah,
you get out of that?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, if I could add to that, you know, our focus is to try and create an environment to where there is no attention drawn to these antennas. The idea is to make them as stealth as possible. And the hope is that by doing so, and creating that environment, we could possibly make that an administrative approval process because of the new federal shot clock requirements. They're very restrictive with regards to the amount of time that's made available for us to respond to them and being automatically approved for the new federal provisions. So I think it was a very constructive engagement we had, a lot of listening from the providers, and I think it was very helpful and meaningful time spent. Our hope is that we can get some additional information from them in regards to some criteria and standards that would work for them. I think they clearly understood our objective, and that is, again, to create as much of a stealth environment as possible, ensuring that they're able to get, not they, we, I guess, as the consumers are able to get the coverage we need throughout the community,
Right.
but at the same time not making a visual impact to us. So, and if I could add also, we'd identified a recommendation to continue this to the next meeting. We think it's going to take longer than that to do this right.
Mm-hmm.
We would like to have a follow-up meeting with the stakeholders group, possibly when we have something drafted. We're also reaching out to Edison to talk with their representatives, as we found out at that meeting that at least one provider has a contractual arrangement with Edison. So we want to understand that, because that has you know, some influence on what happens in the future as well. So we'd like to make a recommendation that actually this be continued without a date certain.
Okay.
And we hope that we would have it back to you in January, realizing that December is not going to be a meeting date for you. And that'll give us sufficient time to, I think, to draft something up, talk with the stakeholders, and be before you in January. And we'll obviously renotice that accordingly.
Did they mention with that regulation put in play, we have 180 days, right? Is that right?
They call it, yeah, a shot clock of 180 days, yeah.
So we have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
The 180 days is a timeline for implementing written objective standards that you would
Oh, it doesn't.
hold their designs to. The shot clock is a little bit different. The shot clock refers to the period within which you have to process new applications and either
Right.
approve them or have them deemed approved as a matter of law.
So we don't have to have the ordinance in place or anything at that time. We just have to have the description.
That's correct. I mean, best case scenario is that you do in fact try to have
The
these
ordinance
objective standards. The idea with it really is that if you don't have these objective standards in place and published, then you can't, on a case-by-case basis, start
Right.
imposing different aesthetic rules
Okay.
to different applications.
So we have to keep that in mind, obviously.
Yeah. And in the time being, we can do CUP still for ones that are coming in,
Okay.
so. And supposedly 2 or 3 are coming this next month, so we'll see.
Okay.
Okay, so we need a motion for this to continue? A motion to continue then to the?
Make a motion to continue.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay, until January?
I guess until further.
Until, just leave it open? To an open, or,
Do we open the hearing? Yeah, we need to open the hearing and then continue.
Oh.
Well, actually, you don't need to since it's not, since it's not date certain, correct?
Yeah, the motion then would be to continue to an unspecified date, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, rather than the January date.
Right.
All right. Okay. Second on that?
So, yeah, I'll take a
Okay.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. On to item 10, items from the Community Development Director.
Yes, Chair, Commission members, we have a few items we wanted to bring up to bring to your attention this evening. First of all, we have scheduled a study session for November 14th to talk about the zoning code update. And hopefully that'll work for all of you to be able to make that date. It's a Wednesday. And we also wanted to find out if we could, if you want to do the standard 7 o'clock time, or if a different time was that some of you have to travel quite a distance coming back to get here, and if we want to be sensitive to that. But we'd like to be able to have you here for an opportunity for us to have the consultant team come in and talk with you, give you an update, and receive some feedback with regards to where we're at with that update process.
6:30 to 7 works for me, anywhere in there.
I can do it early as you want.
Yeah, I'm flexible.
Okay, we could.
Will that be the same date? Do we have a commission meeting that date?
No.
No, it would be separate from your standard. Your commission meeting date is the 4th.
28.
Yeah.
Read that day?
Wait a minute.
14th.
Oh, we moved it?
We moved it, I
because of
thought.
Thanksgiving?
Yeah, Thanksgiving is the 22nd, right?
Thanksgiving's the 22nd.
Yeah,
Okay,
About Tuesday, the day before,
about
the
Tuesday,
13th.
yeah.
sorry about that. Yeah, I guess we're gonna. What we could do is, if we could probably give you a couple of dates and see what works best, and then we'll just properly notice the special meeting. But if possibly the day before works or the day after.
Yeah.
We'd like to keep it in that ballpark. We have to make sure our
Right.
consultant team can make that date as well.
Thursday's better for me than Tuesday,
I'm good either way.
I'm open. Either way.
unless we do Tuesday earlier. Or, what time frame do you have for this meeting? Like the length of the meeting? What?
We're hoping probably 60 to 90 minutes.
Okay.
I think the presentation part of it's not more than 30 minutes. We obviously want it to be interactive. So our hope is that it will stimulate some conversation and dialogue, but hopefully not more than about 90 minutes at most.
Tuesday could work too.
Yeah, Tuesday I can come in earlier because I'm off,
Okay.
so I can move that way up, if that's more flexible. for
What's the meeting on the
everybody.
14th look like? Is that our November meeting going to be?
The meeting is it will be the 28th
It is?
of November.
Yeah.
So what's the
Oh,
14th?
I'm okay.
Wednesday, the
No, I know,
13th.
but what, do we have a meeting on the 14th or no?
No, we don't.
No.
A traffic commission
Traffic
meeting.
Commission, sorry, okay.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
what it is.
I
Yeah.
thought you said plan, it got moved. Okay.
That-
Oh.
Well, yeah, that's what I couldn't remember when we moved. I knew we moved the date. I forgot to put it down.
Yeah, apologies, we missed that on
Yeah.
conflicting with another commission meeting. So we'll see if Tuesday or Thursday works best. We'll certainly correspond with you and find that out and get it properly scheduled and noticed. But, and we'll also can confirm with our.
Well, we've met in the past, if we've had to, in the
Yeah,
in
and
the center over there.
the
and
community center, yeah, we could also meet
We
over
could meet
there.
over there on
Problem
Wednesday.
is,
You're tied up.
Yeah, I'll need to be here.
Oh,
for the
right,
Yeah.
commission.
right.
You can't clone yourself?
That's right.
I
Forgot
wish I
about
could
that.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Me too.
If our meeting's on the 28th, I'm giving notice now that I can't make it.
You won't be able to-
Really?
I'm out of town for work.
Okay, well, we'll follow up with you regarding that item and let you know specifically what date works best for the group and date
Yeah.
and time for that. Thank you.
Okay.
A couple of other items, the December meeting, we have it, it's on the 26th of December, and I think we're
So,
wanting to confirm if that's going to happen or if we want to.
Yeah, that's going, that's not gonna work.
no.
That won't work for me. I'm actually out of town on the 26th.
I think in the past, we have not had December meetings, correct?
Sometimes, yeah, we skip them. And I'm also worried about November. Is everyone going to be able to make the 28th?
I can be here.
Yeah,
I
okay.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah,
So
fine.
then we could possibly skip the December one, so.
Yeah.
Yes, if we
So-
can't do them, we have a couple of large items coming before you.
Yeah, one or the
Scheduled
other
for
month.
November.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we'll likely not have that meeting in December, then it looks like, with the direction we're going here. Also, as a friendly reminder, I believe you had received, those of you with terms concluding received emails from our city clerk, but just as a friendly reminder, in hope that you'll all want to file again to continue on for another term, to please reach out to Wendy as soon as possible and conclude whatever needs to be done with her to identify that for consideration for another term. And that concludes my comments this evening.
I forgot when the dinner was in December.
I think it's the 4th or something.
4th? I
Fourth
think
or-
it was the 4th, yeah. It's a Tuesday, I remember.
Fourth.
Okay.
It's the 4th, right?
I have the dinner in, but I don't
It's the, I think it's the 4th.
have the, all right.
Yes, it's Tuesday, the 4th.
All right.
Great.
Is that it?
That's everything.
Okay, do we have any commission reports?
Just remember Saturday at 5:30 is trunk or treat at Cotton Park. And I think I got it right. I'll be there as the witch doctor, so come see me.
I was just curious, sometimes we'd like to hear about the projects that are ongoing that we approve, so maybe the hotel and Cottonwood, there's anything new or any updates there? Just curious.
I know with the hotel, you may, if you've been by lately,
Huh.
you've seen it, there's actually something going vertical.
Okay.
So
Oh, I haven't seen
they were able to get a lot of recently the foundation footing work completed, and now they've actually started slowly going vertical. So it's a work in progress, a little bit slower than we anticipated coming in, but they are starting to get some momentum going here. They've been making some important connections for utility connects on 16 for their water and sewer connection. And again, there was a lot of work that you couldn't see over the fence with regards to, the undergrounding work. And again, we're starting to see it go vertical. Ironically enough, where I was previously at in Indio, they're just finishing the same hotel being established there. And all I can say is be patient.
Wow.
It takes a while for those projects. You'll see a lot of activity going vertical. It'll look like it's ready to go. And then
Slow down,
it
yeah.
takes a tremendous amount of time as they go through all of the improvements interior to those projects. So it does take a while, but the good thing about it is they are starting to really gain some momentum. It was slow to start, but now they're really starting to build.
Olson is pushed back a few more weeks, so that their cleanup is just taking much more time than they expected. So that's going on.
The activity started up though
Yeah.
there. They, even
Yeah.
today, they were exporting a lot of material out today. They had multiple trucks running, so we anticipated, we just met with them last week, and we anticipate that also starting to gain some momentum. They had a bit of a setback with some additional soil remediation they did not expect that they found as they were in there addressing some other matters. So, but as they reported to us, and it's in fact the case, we see that this week, they're up and running, and there is quite a bit of activity now with regards to the soils and exporting that material out.
And probably the restaurant building, they've pulled permits. That'll probably be the first thing that's built, and quickly. They plan on getting that one done in the next, like 3 or 4 months. They want to do that one really quick. And then where Starbucks and
Cafe Rio, is that going?
Cafe Rio, we keep hoping.
It's still not confirmed?
No, well, they haven't sent me anything that really says that they're confirmed yet, but, they keep saying that's who it is, so.
It's Starbucks confirmed?
Yeah,
That's done?
yeah, that is. Then let's see, Garnica, Mr. Garnica, Mike Garnica was building a 4-unit apartment building over here. That should start, they've broken ground this week, and that should be moving along really quickly soon.
Do you know what they're doing with the tire place that's all torn up?
Yeah, that's going to be some kind of office building, and I would bet that it's probably going to be doctors' offices.
Yeah, I heard medical, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a weird place. Well,
yeah.
They got the.
It's Ross
It-
Farms.
Yes, yeah, and you can look up online what it's supposed to look like in the end. It's going to be a very pretty building, but nothing
This
that
is where
all
the
of us
Goodyear
are jumping up and down
The
about.
Goodyear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Next to the fish company.
let's see.
Were there any other specific projects?
No,
that-
no, I was just curious. No, it's always fun to hear what's going on.
Yeah, then coming up over the next months, you want to tell them that?
Well, we have two big projects coming
Yeah.
forward, the Los Alamitos Luxury Apartments project, the Monte Collins site,
Right.
still trying to get all the names down.
Yeah.
So that's well underway. And also Catella Bakery and Deli has submitted for a minor expansion, but more of a substantial exterior modification to the entire building. And we're currently processing that in hopes that it could be ready possibly for the November meeting as well. So a lot of activity. Being fairly new, I was, one of the inspectors made a mention to me on Friday when I was texting him over a matter. He goes, I think how long has Alan been here? Almost a year. And he goes, this is the busiest it's been in my time here. He goes, I can't believe, because we're running about, I think, between 8 and 12 inspections a day, which when he first got here, he said it was 1 or 2 inspections. So there's a lot of activity happening in our community right now.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting. to
People are
see the
fixing up
momentum.
their houses very quickly, a lot of people, yeah. And of course, solar, we get a couple of those a day right now.
Wow.
So it's pretty big, yeah.
The cardiology group, I'm going to forget the cross street, Catella and, over, It might be where Grateful Heart used to be. They had an open house Monday night. They did a beautiful job inside, just redoing the whole thing. It's really, really nice.
Yeah.
The outside, I've got to hand it to them. I'm really pleased with their putting in some nice landscaping as well. So that's really become a nice looking asset to our community. And then November 5th, what we have on, remember the, I got the name of celebration.
Beautification
Yeah,
project.
thank you. Beautification project that we worked on for the street. Is it 5:30?
4:30 to
6.
4:30 to 6.
Yeah, so La Salle Boulevard, they're having that one at 4:30.
Serpentine.
And it'll be at Serpentine,
Yeah.
is where it's,
We'll make sure if we haven't already, we'll send you a notice for that. We'd love to have you there.
Yeah.
Apologies for not mentioning that, but
I don't
it's a
think,
great opportunity for us to celebrate that the inclusion of that project, which, as you haven't noticed, the restriping just, the ink's dry now, or the paint's dry now, if you will. At Sunday and Monday evening, they restriped it.
Had a lot of complaints? Yep.
Is there still a
couple.
crosswalk or something that's outstanding there?
Um,
Like I said, it looks like the
I
signs
think
for that
so,
are
it
back.
is, yeah.
There's the mid-block crosswalk that was
Right.
added.
But it looks like the signs, is that gonna be flashing signs or something there? 'Cause they look like they're
I
bagged
don't
right
believe
now.
there was any call out for that. I know I had asked about that.
Or this, are you,
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that.
remember the crosswalk.
it
Talking
looks
about
like
that.
there's signs there, but it looks like they're partially covered or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm
We'll
wrong.
check on that. They were still finishing up last night, early this morning, on a few outstanding items, and we'll make sure that they got all the signs should be uncovered now.
Yeah, that project turned out pretty nice, but I have to say it was painfully slow, and I can't believe it took as long as it took.
which one?
The Los Alamitos Boulevard project, I mean, it was just, and some of that striping they had there in the last couple of weeks, I'm surprised. I don't know if there were accidents or something from that, but it was crazy. You didn't even know, the stripes going all over the place.
Yeah, it was a difficult time because we had done the temporary 3-lane and didn't want to pull it back to the original 2-lane configuration until they laid paint down. And I agree, it was challenging with those small markers to really delineate which of the 3 lanes you were in and how that was all working. And
Yeah.
it was definitely challenging. It's really hard because you're in that point of, you can't put down the paint until it's at least a good 7 to 10 days of letting that, the slurry seal cure. entirely. If you put it down too soon, it can be a real issue and not being able to maintain its longevity out of it. But I agree, we were holding our breath a little bit there because there's a lot of traffic flowing through there, and it's really hard when you can't see those
Yeah.
markers very well.
Well, that whole project just took forever.
It did.
I don't know if it was went to the lowest bidder or what. I don't know that it was,
Yeah. Part
best value.
Part of it was people asking about wanting it to be 3 lanes. That slowed it down.
Oh, we lost.
Because
We lost the lane.
Yeah,
We
it's,
lost
yeah. It's much
Yeah.
quicker and cheaper to go right back to what it was before than it is to do all the environmental studies you have to do to go to 3 lanes. So, yeah.
Interesting, you think it'd be the opposite.
Y-
Less would be environmental studies, not more.
Yeah, yeah.
Counterintuitive.
Oh, there's a study for everything now, so.
At least the building department must be flush with cash, all this activity that's going on. High times.
They might be, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Oh, and you notice the parking lot out here has been re-slurry sealed too, so that's kind of nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, with that, we'll adjourn the meeting to November
28.
28th.